If we look at the cow-calf operations, and that's where it all begins, they focus on producing calves that enter into the rest of the production chain and ultimately the beef. And so our cow-calf operations, their biggest priority is fertility and reproduction. And we'll spend quite a bit of time in this class talking about reproduction and the things that affect reproduction, because we want to make sure we produce, we're able to produce a number of cattle to feed the United States. And so we focus a lot on those types of things. This particular picture is of a cow that is on a ranch in northeast Texas. She's got really a big calf at side. That's actually a red Brangus cow with a Charolais sired calf at side. That cow had her first calf at 2 years of age. So we bred, that producer bred her right at 15 months of age. She had her first calf at 2 years of age, and then has had a calf every year after that until she reached about 15 years of age, and produced that calf for that producer. We try to make a threshold of having a calf every year at the same time of year. One, because if we have a calf every year, at the end of that lifetime of that cow, there's more calves versus a cow that only had a calf every 14 or 15 months. So there may be 1 or 2 less calves over the production life of that cow. The other thing is, if that cow has the calf at the same time of year, we can target that calving, higher nutrient requirements when we have the better forage conditions. So this cow, she had this big calf. The calf's about 7 months of age, weighing about 750 pounds, weaned off of that particular operation. So that gives you an idea of some of the production parameters there. Cows will range in age. If we look at some of our cattle that are non-Brahman or Bos Indicus influenced, those cattle can be in the cow herd anywhere from 10 to 12 years of age, whereas our Bos Indicus type cattle, crossbred cattle, can be anywhere from 10 to 15 years of age, a few years longer in time. Most of the time our cattle are going to be culled. Our cows are going to be culled from the operation due to fertility problems or age or some kind of other factor that goes into it. If you look at where the cattle are in the United States, one thing to look for is where there's not people. And so where there's cities and other high population areas, like you could see on the East Coast there, not a lot of cattle production there. You'll also see lots of cattle in areas where there's higher rainfall. So we can see in the Midwest there's a lot of cattle, and then we get into the east and southeast all the way down to Florida. We see a lot of rainfall, a lot of forage conditions, growing conditions, or good forage growing conditions, so we can have higher stocking rates. As we go west, we can begin to see drier type climates. We got some of the mountainous areas, and so then we begin to see less density of cattle there. Some of the big black areas that you see lots of dots there is, as we look in the panhandle of Texas, up into the Midwest, Kansas, Nebraska, and so on, those are going to be some of our higher concentrated feeding areas where our feed yards would be. A lot of times we think about Florida. I always like to pull out Florida. As you can see, there's lots of dots there in Florida. Some of our biggest ranches are going to be in Florida, and we see a lot of commercial cow-calf operations in southern Florida because there's lots of rainfall, lots of grass. There's forage conditions, pasture conditions that may not be as conducive to industry or human population, but they can raise cattle very well there. A lot of differences in our production conditions, and we'll talk about this over time as we go from New Mexico, where rainfall is maybe 13 inches. It may take anywhere from 50 to 100 acres to maintain one cow for a year, to here, this is northeast Texas, where we may see average rainfall 45 inches, and it may take anywhere from 2 to 7 acres to maintain a cow. In this condition, you're probably looking at somewhere around 5 to 6 acres per cow with a rainfall of about 45 inches. In College Station, we're at about 42, 43 inches here at Texas A&M University. And so that gives you some diversity in the cattle production conditions scattered across the United States. If we look at our commercial, our operations. We've kind of hit on the commercial operation a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about the purebred side. The purebred, or sometimes called the seedstock side, is the genetic suppliers for the commercial ranchers. They're the ones producing the high quality genetics that will be put into commercial production to produce more productive females, fertile females, as well as females that produce pounds of beef, but then also maybe a product that's targeted for a consumer, whether it's a high yield or a high quality, high marbling, or a quality yield combination type product. And so they're responsible for that. And so they're utilizing high quality type technology to improve the production of those purebred animals. And so they're going to be utilizing a lot of data, collecting a lot of data on those cattle. They may be ultrasounding, they may be DNA testing, they're going to be utilizing EPDs. All of those things we'll talk about as we move through the class this semester. They'll also be utilizing reproductive technology like artificial insemination to increase the use of superior sires. They'll be using embryo transfer, in vitro fertilization on the females to increase the use or the production, the number of offspring of maybe some superior cows that are out there as well. So they utilize this technology to increase and continue to improve the genetics. And because of this continued improvement in genetics, a lot of the genetics here in the United States are sought for out across the world. And so we see a lot of exporting of our genetics to the South as well as just around the world because we focus so much on improving the genetic quality and a lot of selection there.